So now I've made them suspension changes on this vehicle. Just by going up on the rear, I've managed to change it from 0.5 degrees of pitch up to 0.5 degrees of pitch down. That's a great result. I say 15 mil. I can go a little bit more if I want to, and we'll just see what it goes to with a little bit of compression on the suspension by pulling the vehicle down. So as you can see, it straight away goes to 0.3, 0.39. So it's changing about 1/10 of a degree, just me pulling on it. And obviously more power you get, the more the car wants to squat and accelerate. And this is where you get this pitch angle and you can create a lot of lift on the front. Like I say, you always want the car pitched down, and then it will be a very stable high-speed car. So the only thing I've got to do now is just take the indifference between the front right and front left out, which is the measurements that I took earlier on. I'm going to leave the height the same at the moment for this car. The customer's requested that the car has a lower stance than standard. So the front's about as low as it can go, just from the suspension geometry on the lower wishbones. I don't ever like to see a car with the geometry already kind of upwards on the front arms. I always like to see them parallel or slightly down, and then it gives the arc of the wheel a bit more movement. So I'm going to leave the fronts as they are at the moment. I'm going to see how far off the alignment is, and that will tell us if we need to go up a little bit on the front. So I've just come to do the alignment on the front of the car and jack the vehicle up. I will tell you now, do not jack on these seals. They're not strong enough. They will fold over and cause you grief, cause a lot of rot and rust and issues. If you can get a low enough jack, go right on the inner seals. It's nice and thick here, and if you're lucky like us and you've got a 4-post ramp for this kind of work, then you can go on the subframe. The aluminium part is the best part to go onto, and we can just jack it up there. Same thing on this front wheel. Get the cap off the Mk4 facelift wheels, plastic funnel fork. So we've got our measurements we took before we done any changes on the vehicle. I'm just going to bump this front right hand corner up 4 mil just to level the front of the vehicle out. With a driver in it, it will obviously drop the vehicle on the driver's side. If you're doing chassis setup and weighing the vehicle, then we would start doing the spring perch platform and making sure that the pressure on all 4 wheels are the same with the driver in. But yeah, let's go and bump this up 4 mil just to level this front out. 27. .5. 31. Now I just pre-check my measurements to make sure I'm happy to proceed with doing the alignment. .83 and 83, spot on. 170. 170. So that was by going 15mm at the rear up and 4mm at the front, and we now have a nice level car. Now we can proceed to putting the pods on and to actually start aligning this vehicle. So these brackets just lip around the edge of the wheel, doesn't damage them. It's quite a nice mounting solution. It will make a difference if you've got the pins on one side there and there instead of there and there. So make sure the pin orientation is always the same. Let's begin a new alignment. So it starts giving you the details here. What the front should be, caster, minimum, maximum, camber, the individual toe, total toe, the rear camber, minimum and maximum, and individual toe and total toe. So what we do on our system, we have to do a rolling run out position. I'm just rolling the vehicle back. It's now asking to do a caster swing. At this point, when you track the car and lock this steering wheel in this position right now, this is where the steering wheel will sit once the tracking's been adjusted. So it's critical that you make sure the steering wheel is as horizontal as you can possibly get. Make sure you're happy with it before you start aligning the vehicle. That looks pretty good to me just there. Let's look how terrible this is. So, yeah, it's quite bad. So we've got 3mm towing on the rear left, 1.5mm towing on the rear right, 1.6 degrees camber on the rear left, and 2 degrees on the rear right. We have 1 degrees of camber front left, 1.6 front right, 3.8 degrees caster front left, 3.4 on the front right, and then 0.6mm of tow out on the front left, and 1.8mm of tow in on the front right hand side. So let's adjust the back first. Let's get it in a bit more of a close range. We are looking for minimum is 0.3, preferred is 0.8. I actually normally set them to 0.5. It's a good balance at the rear. It makes the car still feel really stable at high speed, but also less tyre degradation. If you have too much towing on the rear of a car and you go around a corner and over the suspension bumps, the car almost shuffles around at the back. So it doesn't feel very nice, doesn't inspire you with confidence. 0.5mm, the car tracks in a dead straight line. It takes the toe out, takes the towing out a tiny amount. You won't really be able to notice it. It will give you good tyre wear and the car will feel nice and stable. So I'm going to do both the toe to start off with, and then I'm going to tweak the cambers. The cambers I would like 1.2, 1.3 degrees at the rear, and what does it say, preferred? So yeah, minimum is 0.8, maximum is 2.3. So actually 1.6, I can leave that at 1.6. I'm happy to leave that at 1.6. It won't wear the inside of the tyres too much. 1.2, 1.3 might give you a little better tyre life. So yeah, let's do the toe, which will change the camber, and the camber on this one. So I've just come back to do this tyre rod here to adjust this toe, and I went to undo it and it's loose. That's why it's moved. So that's not great. Someone's obviously been in there before, not done it up. They're 19mm. The handbrake cable can sometimes get in the way. Yeah, that moves straight away, very easy. Straight away to 1.8mm. $1mm. Oh, and it jumped straight away there. .4 is a good place to be. That changed just from doing it up from 0.4 to 0.2. That's not enough towing. There we go, 0.5. Once I've got everything where I want it and I'm happy, I'll then break the torque wrench out, torque up all the bolts, and then I'll mark them all with a white pen. But because we've changed the toe, the camber's gone up. And that's a little bit too much. Again, that's quite loose. These have to be done up quite tight. And this may have a seized bolt. So I've just come back to check the concentric washers to make sure they're in the same position. And it looks like they are not. It looks like maybe this concentric washer has just disappeared. It's no longer concentric anymore. It's got a flat, it's like a D shape on the washer itself. I can see this side moving, but I can't see the other side moving. See, it's spinning, but the concentric washer isn't moving, so we'll need to replace that. That's quite in there, so maybe it's slightly seized. Yeah, totally gone. Although the bolt isn't seized in a bush, so that's a bonus. But I do need to try and get this out now. Pretty seized in there. They will definitely need some copper slip on them when they go back in. I will get there. So close. And there we have it, that's that one off. I'm going to go to the stores and get a new one. You can see this should be a D shape, I'll show you the difference. So you can see here, the new one, the old one. You can definitely see this started life with a D shape, and this one is no longer a D shape. And it means that when you were trying to align the car, the bolt was spinning, this was not spinning, and it was no longer pushing the bush where I wanted it to go. So I'm going to put some copper slip on the back of this one. This just helps for the adjustment, and then we'll nip it up finally. So that went straight on the washer. Now we need to slightly adjust it. Right, that's now sitting nice and square in the subframe. You can see now this one is moving. We haven't got much more adjustment than that, but we'll go back to the screen and see where we are. And we are at 1.4 degrees. So I'm going to lock that up there, then readjust the toe. I'm happy with the camber of 1.4 degrees. That'll be great tyre life. So now I've done that, you can see it's 1.4 degrees camber, but look how much toe's changed. So I now need to go back and readjust the toe. that's getting tight now. .1. You know things are getting serious when you're doubling up spanners. I haven't got much more toe in, but look how much the camber's now changed. 1.1. Now I'm gonna have to go back out with the camber. Go and check. 1.3 degrees, 0.4 mil toe in. Go and do this one. 1.5, 1.2, 4 mil toe out now. It feels very tight in this bush. .3, 1.2, 0.3, 0. So if you adjust the one wheel, it does make a difference for the other, just from where the sensors are being measured. Whew, it's hard work doing this alignment. I'll lock that one up there. We will come back and do the torque wrench on these, and we will also pen mark them, so that if any work on the car gets done, you can put the alignment back to where it started. That just changed. Nope, that's good still. One small adjustment on this one. It's tight now.